through really sad things that have been happening in the Middle East over the last couple of days.
Yep, so, focus again on the ongoing almost 10-month genocide in Gaza and the occupied territories by the Zionist forces. So on August the 10th, day 309 of the war, there were actually 2 attacks on schools which were housing displaced refugees from other areas of Gaza that had fled to these schools for shelter. And of course, they were told these were safe places. But we're going to focus on what has been called the Fajr Massacre, which is the dawn prayers for Muslims, which resulted in over 100 people being killed. When Israeli forces targeted the At-Tabayin school in Gaza City during dawn prayers. More than 200 people were injured. The school, sheltering thousands of displaced individuals, was hit while people were praying, leading to extensive casualties and devastation. And we're just going to show a very short video. It's not particularly distressing, but it will just show the school itself, and how tightly packed the school was with civilians, and of course the majority again being women and children when it was targeted by Israeli airplanes. Now, it has been reported by the Gaza Civil Defense that the Israeli army used 3 bombs weighing 2,000 pounds each. So these are the Mk-84 US supplied bombs that are designed to basically destroy armored vehicles. And 3 of these, so that's, I think, 907 kilos per bomb, designed to basically shatter armored vehicles and tanks, was dropped on these thousands of displaced unarmed refugees. You can imagine the absolute devastation. And in fact, the war was so great, it was so horrendous. Bodies were literally torn apart. If we look at the next report, every 70 kilograms of remains of body parts is considered a martyr. What does this actually mean? Because the rescue teams couldn't identify many of the human remains collected due to the intensity of the bombing, the doctors at the Baptist hospital were not able to identify each martyr individually. Instead, the doctors have started collecting body parts in plastic bags and giving 70 kilos of remains to the family of a martyr who's gone missing. Just let that sink in for a second. You don't receive the body of your dead child or your dead father, mother, brother, sister. You receive body parts that weigh 70 kilos. And there was a young man from Gaza who went on Twitter to express what this means to the people of Gaza. So on the left, I apologize, you do see the bags that are being produced with the body parts. So he actually said, we are no longer numbers, we are approximate numbers. Absolutely horrifying. How do the Zionist forces justify this kind of heinous massacre? Well, in the Jerusalem Post article, the IDF has basically said, is that they were targeting terrorists that were taking shelter in the school. In this one article, they have named multiple so-called terrorists. They named 12 more terrorists killed in Gaza school strike. No answer on the civilians. Well, let's see how truthful those claims are. This was an article in Press TV. Living on Lies, Israeli claim of killing Hamas members at the Gaza City school debunked. And then let's have a look at the actual content of the article, which focuses in one part on Ramy Abdu, chairman of Euromed Monitor, human rights organization that investigates the crimes of the Israeli forces in Gaza, said 4 of the victims singled out by the Israeli military as Hamas members were from the Jaabari family, whom he knew personally. They never engaged in any political or military activities. Another one was my neighbor from the Habib family who had a serious dispute with Hamas. He noted another civilian, Abdu, was Abdul Karim Hamad, a devout man who sympathized with Hamas but had never joined its ranks. So he basically says the Israeli regime lives on lies. And if you go to his Twitter account or his X account, you can see a number of names singled out, demonstrating the lies of the Zionist entity having carried out, one of the worst massacres, but we're seeing massacre after massacre. And the following video is actually taken from the Euromed Monitor website and X account, and that just shows a section of their investigation into this massacre, and it basically goes into great detail in the lies that are being produced by the Zionist forces. And there's another actual X post where they produce all the names, particularly of the children that were killed in this attack.
Okay, Vanessa, thank you very much for that report. It is absolutely tragic what is going on. It's horrific and it's tragic what is going on. For me, for Israel to claim that it knows the identities of people in the very buildings is just incredible. You may know some, you may know one or two, but to be able to say we knew exactly who was in that building in the prevailing conditions is just, to me, an incredible claim, just incredible. We need to stop it. I think the really sad thing is that we're not seeing any numbers of politicians in the UK or the US or indeed Europe-wide who are calling for an end to the violence. What we seem to have is more and more calls for more weapons and munitions to go into Israel. And of course, those supplies are led by the US and the UK. They need to be stopped.